Alright, welcome to another ranking video for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise. And right now, we are going to be ranking the families of the Chainsaw franchise. The families of the franchise itself. So we're going to go through all the families as seen in the films from part 1 through the latest 2022 requel. And really rank the family units based on whether they're Chainsaw Gold, awesome, good, decent, meh, not into it, or trash. And then we'll rack them all up at the end and go from my favorite to my least favorite and the top. So let's start with the first film, the family that really introduced us to it all. The cook, the hitchhiker, Leatherface himself, a barely alive grandpa, and that's pretty much it. So I'm going to say that family, as deranged and crazy as they were, I'm going to say that was pretty... No, that's Chainsaw Gold. What am I saying? Absolutely Chainsaw Gold, because we know and love those characters. They're fantastic. I meant to say Chainsaw Gold. I don't know why I started saying pretty damn awesome. I was looking at the words. So there it is. I mean, it's iconic. You don't get much better than that as far as like the just the frenetic, crazy, goofy, darkly comedic aspects of the family, especially Drayton Sawyer. He's just a hoot. It's fantastic. Moving on to part 2's family, which is really just Leatherface again, the cook, and Grandpa, who seems a little bit more alive in this film than he did in part 1. Chop Top, which is actually the hitchhiker's brother from the first film, who is nicknamed in this film as Nubbins. He's the corpse that Chop Top sort of drags around. This family unit is probably more corrupt and more crazy than they were in the first film. But, you know, jokes, goofball antics, puns, just iconic lines of dialogue and antics that have just lived on for 40 years plus now, I guess. Almost 40 years since the sequel came out. And everything about it's just fantastic. I would say they're on par with the first family, if not crazier and better. So I'm going to put them also in Chainsaw Gold as far as ranking the family units from the Chainsaw franchise goes. With that said, let's move on to part 3. In part 3, you really had the first look at a very extended Sawyer family. You have Leatherface, obviously. You have Mama. You have the little girl, which I'm still not sure if that's supposed to be Leatherface's niece or if it's supposed to be Leatherface's daughter. You have Tinker. You have Tex. You have the gas station guy who really isn't really a part of the family for the majority of the runtime of the film. And you have a very deceased grandpa. I like the mom, Tex, the Tinker, all awesome. Leatherface is awesome. The little girl is creepy and frenetic and weird in her own right. The gas station clerk is disgustingly gross, but you love to hate him at the same time. Highly dysfunctional. Love him to death. They outshine the movie itself in every way possible. I'm going to put the part 3 family also in Chainsaw Gold. I mean, they're fantastic. Very underrated as a family unit within the franchise. And with that said, we move on to part 4, which is the New Generations family, which is just absolutely annoying. Every character from the family is annoying, especially Leatherface. Hideously annoying. Cringeworthy. Not funny. Not cool. Not memorable in a good way. You hate all these characters. You don't want any of them to live. It's just the family is terrible in part 4. Absolutely terrible. I'm going to put them absolutely not in garbage. You probably thought I was going to say garbage, but I'm going to put a not into it because there could be worse. I think there could be worse, but definitely not into the family in part 4 at all. Especially when racked up against the first 3. And I would have to think you probably agree. Next, moving on to the Hewitt family, the rebooted family from the 2003 and 2006 films. You have Arlie Ermey's character, Hoyt. You have Mama. You have, what is her name? The lady from the trailer. You have the little boy. You have the uncle. It's fantastic. The family unit in the 2003 and 2006 films, and I apologize, their specific names are somehow slipping my mind right now. But Uncle Monty, excuse me. So there it is. Iconic, absolutely iconic, lovable. You almost want this family to succeed and prevail for some reason. even though they're horrible, horrible people and do horrible things. As iconic as the 2003 house is, I'm going to say that they're also Chainsaw Gold. Inarguably Chainsaw Gold. And next, we're moving on to the family from Texas Chainsaw 3D, seen only in the prologue of the film. It's sort of the same family from the first film, but it's extended because you see all these cousins and nephews and uncles and nieces and babies and stuff that we didn't see in the original film sort of pop up here. So with that said, we don't really get a good look at them enough to really judge them, but from what we did saw, especially the inclusion of Gunnar Hansen as one of the Sawyers, as I think they call him Boss Sawyer. What I saw was pretty damn awesome. That's the wrong one there. Pretty damn awesome is what I saw. So I wish we could have gotten more of that prologue, but what I saw in that brief period of time, it was pretty damn awesome. Which brings us to last but not least for this list, 2017's Leatherface, which is pretty much the same family from the original film, but 20 or 30 years before the events of that film. So you have Verna Carson young, you have all the siblings and brothers and stuff from the first film, but way younger. You have, yeah, it's just good stuff, man. So with that said, I really like the interpretation of the family in that film. You really buy them as a family unit. You see Grandpa in action, which is very cool. I really like all of these characters and all their interpretations. So with that said, I'm going to put them also in pretty damn awesome. And there's my list. We'll rack them up and rank them in a second, but I just want to say that the reason I'm not putting in the 2022 film is it's really just the old lady who lives at the boarding house along with Leatherface, so it's not really a family unit per se. It would be sort of like if I ranked Verna Carson and Leatherface from 3D before she passed away. It was just those two in the house. That's not really a family unit in the same way I'm talking about here. I'm talking about the big extended families of the series. So this is all of them, as far as I'm concerned, that needed to be ranked. So let's rank them up from least to best. Least, we're going to have the New Generation, of course. Then I'm going to put the 3D household next, because I like the 2017 family interpretation better. Then we have, I'm going to put, let's see, this is going to be the hardest one to rank. I think as far as familial units go, the Hewitt family is probably the best, followed by Part 2, followed by the original, followed by Part 3. That's my definitive ranking, at least as of right now. It's the 2003 family, followed by Part 2's interpretation, followed by the original's interpretation, followed by the Part 3 extended family, followed by 2017, and followed by the 3D prologue family. Hope this wasn't confusing. I rambled a lot. I slurred a lot. This is exciting stuff, though. What can I say? So I hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to leave me your own rankings in the comments below. Let me know how wrong I am about my ranking, and so on and so forth. And until next time, I will see you next time.